Live from the Scheinfeld Center Innovator Studio at Santa Barbara City College, it's the Enlightened Entrepreneur Podcast, where we inform and inspire Gen Z to be even more entrepreneurial and innovative in our global economy. I'm your host, Julie Sampson, Director of the Scheinfeld Center. Thank you for joining us, everyone, to create livelihoods that matter, be your own boss, and make the world an even better place. Well, you know, the COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted plans, changed priorities, scrambled communities. And despite the chaos and uncertainty, 3 SBCC entrepreneurs have been making it happen, advancing their ventures in the Get Real Accelerator. Today, we will meet the founders who are making these things happen, inspiring us all to go after our dreams, no matter what, and reminding us that though we can't predict the future, we can create the future. So welcome Elvis Idunate, founder of Texas Tacos, John Harmon, founder of Get Oilslick Adhesive Remover, and Stephen Benavidez, founder of Argonauts Tactical. We're so excited to have you with us. Thank you for taking the time.
Of course, happy to be here.
Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So 30 minutes is going to go super quickly. Let's jump right in. We could go around and just familiarize the audience with your venture by sharing with us what problem you're solving and what solution you are providing. So John, would you like to start off?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So my name is John Harmon, and a little bit about my business venture is I have created a product that helps eliminate the pain when taking medical grade bandages off. And so I'm hoping to solve this problem because it can be really, really painful to take those tough adhesives off. And I'm hoping with my products, I can solve this problem for people with type 1 diabetes, people who come out of the hospital. So there's a lot of different applications, and yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, John.
My name is Elvis Idunate. I have founded Texas Tacos, and my problem is basically I think that Isla Vista is in desperate need of some breakfast options that are affordable, fast, and delicious. There's about 27,000 college students in Isla Vista alone, and they're ready to be served. Just a classic Texas-style breakfast taco. It's customizable and easy to take to class. It's something that is very popular here from where I'm from in Texas, obviously, and I was surprised to see it has not made its way over to California. So that is what I feel like my calling has become.
Excellent. Thanks, Elvis.
All right. I'm Stephen Benavidez, founder of Argonauts Tactical. And currently what I'm working on right now is an individual first aid kit for quick response tactical teams, similar to SWAT and other law enforcement agencies. Basically, from especially in my experience in the military and talking to guys in law enforcement, back problems are a really big issue, especially when you're wearing all that gear. And, first aid kits that you usually keep on your body are big and bulky. And so I'm developing a way to place it on the lumbar, so like your lower back, and use it as back support. Because something that a lot of people don't realize, like you don't really see it in the movies, you just see all the sexy stuff, is how long a lot of these guys have to sit in their vehicle, wearing all that gear. And so this will help, prevent that repetitive strain on the back.
Very good. It sounds like you all are addressing a pain or compelling need, which is so important, when we think about ventures to bring forward. So tell us, how did you come up with your business idea? This is something that aspiring entrepreneurs are always, grappling with, trying to find an idea that really solves a pain or compelling need and designing a solution that meets that need. So how did you come up with your concept? Elvis, do you want to lead us off on that?
Absolutely. I heard some really good advice. I can't remember exactly who told me it, but when they said, think about a problem that you need to solve, just look. I feel like as soon as you look close into your own life and you find issues that you're dealing with, you have to kind of understand how many other people are probably dealing with the same issue. Whether it's getting up in the morning and oh my God, getting up in the morning and finding a quick, easy breakfast option. I found that so annoying in Isla Vista because it's such a small community everywhere. You can walk anywhere, but you can't walk somewhere that is not serving a really affordable, quick, and easy breakfast option. I feel like the closest place is like a McDonald's or something. So I thought, man, if I'm having this problem, how many other people in Isla Vista are also having this problem? And that's how I kind of came up with Texas Tacos. And I feel like that's how a lot of good ideas come up is you just put your own life and try to find out how many other people are probably experiencing the same thing.
Yeah, definitely examining your own life to identify problems you're solving. Yeah. And then finding do other people have that problem as well or need? Yeah, excellent.
So for me, this was kind of this similar thing to Elvis, where it was more of like a personal problem that I was kind of trying to fix myself. But I was also noticing it with other people who I was in the service with, and they and like just seeing around the tactical gear community. A lot of people are starting to put their first aid kits like on the back of their belt. Really mostly just to keep it out of the way. And then I started seeing some people, they would hike up their belt to like place it on their lower back as they're in the vehicle. And so, the idea just kind of came to me. It was like, well, why don't I just devise a way for it to just always be there as back support?
Yeah, great observation. Observing what people are doing and identifying a potential solution. That's awesome. How about you, John?
So yeah, the idea of my product stems from a previous product I've launched called Oilslick Beach Tar Remover. And I essentially got the idea for that product by seeing a mom pour gasoline on her 8-year-old to get the tar off. And so I successfully launched that product into the Santa Barbara market. And so fast forward to today, I have been looking for different ways to grow Oilslick outside of my local community. And so the way I've been able to figure that out is by using it in different applications and kind of taking the formula and moving it to a different industry. And after much years of research, I came across this problem. And this is a problem that a lot of people in the medical space have experienced. So I looked at my formula and I said, I think this is quite an opportunity to pursue. And I'm pursuing that idea as we speak.
Excellent. So you're such a great example of innovating on an existing product. In this case, the original product was your own, but it's nice how you're spinning different solutions off of that. Yeah, very cool. A lot of times when entrepreneurs have identified a potential solution and maybe it's solving their own problem, like we heard, or need, which is what we heard Stephen and Elvis talk about. But there's always that question about, I have this, or I think it would be a winning idea, right? But how do you really know for sure? Could you tell us a bit about the market validation process that you've gone through to really get this concept in front of your identified target market and get some feedback on it? Stephen, do you want to lead us off on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like one of the greatest things that, it's like in terms of market validation is actually putting the product in front of someone and talking about it and, really getting their opinion on it. Because, it's like when I was doing my market validation, it was pretty close to about a 50% approval, which I feel like is actually pretty high. But also at the same time, it's good to hear that other side of why someone wouldn't want it, because that can really help get your creative juices flowing. And just in case you need to alter the product itself, but also it's like you're getting a better understanding of other people's needs with the product that they say they like it, but maybe it's like, in my case, they didn't need the same medical supplies that I thought they needed. They actually needed a little bit fewer, which was, kind of good for me because that means I get to use less material.
Excellent. Yeah. Getting the concept in front of your target market. And what I really liked about that is you're, listening to the people who, it wouldn't be a solution to really find some redesign that might work. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I can follow up with Stephen as well too. So kind of how I tested the idea for my new product is I did a lot of research on Amazon, and I noticed that adhesive removers were highly searched on Amazon, and a lot of them were using like alcohol-based products, and I saw a way that I was able to differentiate myself against what was currently out there. And so I went ahead and launched my original formula as an adhesive remover with a different label. And I ran a 6-month test on Amazon and collected lots of feedback that was actually valuable to even making the product better. And just in a month ago, I've updated the formula and I've made some chemistry tweaks to it. And yeah, so that's kind of how I've really tested the idea of this. Is I launched online.
Yeah, I really like how you use Amazon to get that feedback. I think that's really brilliant. Yeah, Elvis, how about you?
Of course. So I actually just recently posted a Google forum, just getting my initial kind of market discovery, going to find my competition, not just with obviously the breakfast businesses around Isla Vista, but just with how people cook their own breakfast, or how many times people eat breakfast in the mornings. I feel like it's a pretty common thing amongst students nowadays to just skip breakfast altogether. So I was really dialing in on my early adopters with this initial survey. Has over 70 responses just in a couple of days, which is great. So I'm excited to keep collecting those responses and quantifying my data. But I'm even more excited because I just actually got in a big 28-inch griddle that takes propane, and I am going to start probably doing some little pop-up events at houses in Isla Vista where I can serve my tacos and then have another survey and QR code for them to kind of give me some more feedback on the product itself, other than just the concept.
So what's really amazing, what our audience may not know, is that you three are in the Get Real Accelerator, and that started in June. So these breakthroughs and this work that is going on, a lot of that has just happened within the last few months. John, you actually did your market validation with Amazon starting a little bit earlier. I think it was in February, right? And then came on board, and you've done so much amazing stuff with your SEO, working that end of things. Yeah, it's been great.
I have to give
Mhm.
I was to say, I have to give a big shout out to Eric Peterson for helping me with the SEO. And he's one of the mentors in the Get Real Accelerator. So thank you, Eric, and thank you, Julie.
You're welcome. All of you are demonstrating, that you're starting simply to get things off the ground, right? You're not, Elvis, you're not trying to launch a chain of food trailers across California, right? Stephen, you've identified your, particular flagship product, we call it, that you're kicking off. Eventually you'll have a whole line of products, but you focused on this. And John, you're focusing on this next product that you're rolling out. So we do this thing of starting simply, but at the same time, it's really important to have a big vision of where you ultimately want to go. It kind of serves as your North Star, right? And so tell us a bit about what your vision is for your venture. Where are we? Stephen, do you want to head us off on this one?
Yeah, of course. So my vision is to essentially be the go-to for tactical gear for individuals who want to upgrade from their issued gear. I want to be like one of those top competitors that are out there. I don't just want to be another name brand.
I would love to be opening up a chain of food trailers across California right now, but you got to start somewhere. So I definitely think that would probably be my end goal. Maybe not trailers. Maybe if we get busy enough, we can do some actual just brick and mortar stores all across the college campuses of California. But yeah, that'd be fantastic. I've always thought breakfast tacos were kind of like everybody knows about them kind of thing, especially I guess growing up in Texas was a huge bias, but as soon as I left, I was shocked to see that they haven't reached California yet. So maybe I'm the one to start that trend. Who knows?
Such a good way of coming up with a business idea. There was a concept that just wasn't in a particular area. So it's not always about entrepreneurship, isn't always about, creating this new product. Sometimes it's introducing it to a new market, that really makes the difference. So that's great. And I love your vision. Sean, how about you?
Yeah. So kind of my vision for Oilslick is I kind of want the products to be the healthier alternative to what's currently on the market. And so that's kind of the mission of what I want to achieve, is to keep all of my products very healthy. And really for the adhesive remover, I would love to one day just, be that doctor's choice where it's like, okay, cool. After your surgery, you're covered in bandages. When taking this off, use this product. And so to have that acknowledgement would be really cool.
That's great. And I know that one of the things that you're doing is, though you launched on Amazon, your focus is actually on selling direct to consumer through your website. And one of those reasons that you've stated is that you really want to be in direct connection with the customer. And that's difficult to establish with Amazon. And so I think that's where a lot of ideas come from. Your target market that you're serving might, come up with the next idea, that you'll launch with Oilslick too.
Absolutely. That was very well said.
I'm wondering, you've been launching your concepts in kind of a precarious time. Here we are amid COVID-19. And we've heard from some startups that the pandemic has actually really helped them. And we've heard from some that it's made it actually harder. So I'm wondering what impact the pandemic has had on your own launch, over the last few months. Elvis, do you want to head us off on that?
Oh, I would love to. This has taken a huge impact on my business. I feel like, or at least the startup process. My plan is to get a trailer and put it obviously in Isla Vista. And one of these reasons why I thought this was such a good idea was because during the school year, Isla Vista is just full of foot traffic and bike traffic and people skateboarding to class. Like I said, everything's a walking distance, obviously the university as well. And during the mornings, it is crazy how many people are going through the streets. However, it seems like Isla Vista seems like it's kind of like gold nugget. But what's hard about it is that all the students leave during the winter time and during the summer. So these businesses have a lot of overhead during those months that they can't cover. But with a trailer, you can just pick it up and move somewhere else, which is perfect. You're not tied to a lease or anything like that. However, with the COVID, the Delta variant coming back, there's a lot of speculation that UCSB wasn't going to go back to in-person classes, and so it really kind of made me hesitate on putting a big purchase down on a trailer, or even I was looking to split rent on a space with another business. But it really kind of made me take a step back, because if I do kind of put all my money into this and they don't do it in person, that would be a huge hit to my business. So I have kind of taken my time just a little bit, and I'm now doing, like I said, these pop-up kind of events, which would kind of keep my buzz going while I kind of make this decision about the trailer. But until then, I think we should be good to go. I think UCSB has said that everybody is going to be in person, but you have to be vaccinated, which is great. So we're looking on track.
Yeah, that's really good news. I like how you're being really creative, finding ways to continue advancing forward, even if you have this question in mind and this assessment of timing. It's great that you're finding ways to continue moving the concept forward and, you know, finding things like the pop-up that are things that you can do now to be building that community. You know, that's really good. That's really good. That's being a really good founder and steward of your concept. So good job.
I think it'll be also really great, you know, when I do get the trailer, I'll hit the ground running, because I not only have like a social media presence, but people have actually eaten my tacos here and there, and they'll be ready first in line. So I think that's also a great idea.
Yeah, it's great. John, how about you?
I'm going to say both. So there's positives and negatives to it. And I think I'll most likely want to highlight on the positives for today. So one of the positives was, you know, the whole world shifted to digital. And one of my goals was to be, you know, be better on the computer. I wanted to learn digital marketing, and I signed up for a coding class, and I was watching YouTube tutorials on how to do PPC and SEO, and I've really been able to use these skills for my business. So that was one of the positives that came out of it, was I was able to invest the time into myself to grow my business.
Excellent. Stephen, how about you?
Yeah, kind of the same thing, where, you know, there's a lot of pros and cons to it. The pros is that, you know, everything that has come with the pandemic has actually been increased sales for the industry itself. But of course, the cons with that is that there have been a lot of other pop-up tactical gear companies who are kind of overtaking or increasing the demand for the material. So there's a material shortage. And you know, like, I think when I was first starting off on making prototypes, it would take a week for all my supplies to come in. And now it's upwards of 3 weeks for them to come in.
Wow.
So, you know, yeah, I mean, like, in some ways it's good, in some ways it's not. It's one thing it has done for me, though, is that it's forced me to slow down and be more methodical about every decision that I make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. Yeah, that supply chain disruption that you're talking about, that's affected you, Elvis, as well, with the supplies needed to build out food trucks, you know, and I think you ran into, it's increased the cost of the food trucks, which is one of the considerations that you're dealing with, right?
Yeah, things have been on back order. These trailer construction companies have trailers fully built except for like one part, and they said they've had like 5 trailers just lined up, all waiting for like a generator, and as soon as they get the generator they can send them out. But they're just on such back order right now that, you know, the prices have been raised, and you can get charged. This is like one of the things I was worried about, is you can get charged almost twice the amount of a trailer, and then by the time it's, you know, being done built after 4 or 5 months, the cost, it's worth, you know, less than half the amount that you bought it for. So just really bad investment choices that I would rather not throw myself into.
Right.
So
yeah. Hey, let's take a second here and let's go into some audience questions. So Camille has a question for Elvis, actually. This is kind of a technical question. Maybe you can just kind of give an overview of the licensing process for mobile businesses. So actually, I know the context for this because this Camille is launching a mobile vintage concept where you know she'll be mobile and selling a vintage, and so she's kind of wondering about that mobile end of it and the licensing process.
nice. Like a vintage, like food, or like, is it like a store?
Vintage clothing.
Vintage clothing.
Vintage clothing.
Interesting. You know, I'm not too sure on the licensing for like a clothing like boutique, I'm guessing. That sounds like a really, really cool idea. As far as for a food trailer, it is quite strenuous. It's kind of strict. You have to go, obviously, it's actually, they do a really good job at, helping you out with kind of the whole permitting process and the equipment you need. And you can go online, you can get a nice big old packet about
they being Santa Barbara County.
Santa Barbara County, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Santa Barbara County online. I'm sure there is some kind of permitting process that you have to go to before, but I'm not sure if even, I wonder if like being like a mobile vendor, if there's like a separate one just for that. But I know that for the Santa Barbara County, the food, since you're dealing with food, there's a whole nother process that's a little bit more difficult. So I'm not sure if that's anywhere even close to the same. I highly doubt it. But.
The advice that you gave, though, I think is good about checking with the county or city where an entrepreneur is thinking about launching such a business. That's the place to start, because for sure there are regulations around that. And you really, it's good very early in the process to check out what those are, you know, because you may be limited in where you can park or hours that you can be, those certain locations that the mobile businesses are allowed. So the city or county will be your best friend for figuring those things out. Let's see, another question from another Julie. What is your best advice in order to come up with an idea? We kind of touched on that. Does anybody have anything to add to what we've already talked about?
Yeah, I guess kind of, you know, observe the world around you. Just like kind of look and see what kind of people need, and then try and find a way to like try and fix that need. Yeah, I don't know. It's for me, it really was just going on personal experience, observing people around me, seeing what they were doing, and then trying to come up with something, you know, that kind of fit both of our needs.
Definitely.
Yeah, good. So I think that observation is key. What I like about that is it's starting with the problem, right? Finding a problem rather than coming up with an idea and trying to find somebody who would want it, which is what often happens, right? So the observation helps entrepreneurs identify potential problems that they could solve. Also, in our process in class has included figuring out what groups people are already connected, what groups of people, like, you know, students at SBCC, you know, people in your yoga class, you know, whatever groups you're connected to, figuring out which of those groups you would really like to work with and help solve problems for, and then going out and talking with those people to find out, you know, what are their aspirations, you know, what gets in the way of that, what's the major problem that comes up with that. So I think the key here, what we're hearing is to get out into the world, you know, observe, talk to people, you know, look at your own things that you're encountering on your own. You know, I think these are all really good ways to come up with ideas. We've got yet another question. Let's go with it. Let's see. This one is for John. What was the, okay, so this person is going to pick up on your comment of just going for some of the more positive things about COVID. He wants to know, okay, what was the greatest like challenge with it?
Greatest challenge, consistency. For me, like learning for me is a little bit difficult. It takes me 3 times to hear it to finally get it. So for me, it was just being consistent and just trying to wrap my head around just going into like the world of doing business online. And yeah, there's just a lot to it, and you're going to spend money and not get a return. So there's going to be a lot of money lost, but I try to see it as like, it's not money lost. It's more, it's either like you learn from it is essentially the point I want to make. So even though you've, you know, may have not succeeded at first, take it as a lesson. And then you keep building on that until you are successful. You only need to be right once with it.
Yeah. Well, if you can believe it, we're at the end of our time, but maybe we could leave with this last question. So all of you are moving your ventures forward in the Get Real Accelerator, which culminates on November 12th in our Get Real Shark Tank. And all of you are going to have the opportunity to win a $10,000 award. So in moving towards that, how can our local community and SBCC and all of the students at SBCC best rally around you and your venture to support your success?
That's a
Steven,
tough
do you
one.
wanna- Yeah, do you want to start off, Stephen?
I don't really know what to say other than it's just honestly just having people, voice their support is very encouraging because, just starting up any sort of venture is very daunting in and of itself. And sometimes just hearing support is, it's enough to kind of just help you keep that momentum.
Yeah, so things like, so you've got your Instagram up,
Right.
This video will be up, we've got a lot of marketing that we'll be doing around all of you, so you've heard it, audience, how you can really support entrepreneurs, these entrepreneurs that are putting it on the line. So just being there and voicing the support is important. So how about you, Elvis? Do you have anything in particular?
Absolutely. Coming from a big city, this whole small town, I guess Santa Barbara thing is pretty new to me. And I've noticed just how much word of mouth gets around, not just in Santa Barbara, but especially, or not just in Isla Vista, especially, but Santa Barbara in itself. Just talking about our brands and or especially in Isla Vista, I feel like the marketing is going to be super easy. My entire 27,000 college student market is all within a single square mile, it feels like. So, putting up posters, or I'll be putting up posters and trying to get as much of a following on my Instagram as possible, because I feel like that's where I'll be doing a lot of announcements to do different pop-ups in different housings.
Excellent, excellent. So social media comes through, follow and comment. Don't just, it's good. I mean, the likes and following are great, but the comments really, are an important part of it too. Yeah, excellent. And how about you, John?
I think Stephen and Elvis said it beautifully. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Follow the Scheinfeld Center. They do a good job on, keeping everyone updated, and send us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
Excellent. Well, that's the end of our time, everybody. So thank you, founders, for joining us here to help support other aspiring entrepreneurs who are coming up in your footsteps. And also, we just really want to celebrate all of you, for your boldness and fortitude, and just saying it doesn't matter what's going on. I'm moving my venture ahead. That is amazing and very inspirational. And bringing things to a close, we'd like to thank our audience for joining us here today. And we hope you'll join us every week here at the Enlightened Entrepreneur Podcast, where we bring entrepreneurs who are making it happen to enlighten you and help you in your own journey. So thanks, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.